You can change your entire life by just changing one habit. Subscribe to our podcast and make listening a habit.
Change your mindset, manifest your dream life, and live magically with Rise and Align.
Raising the frequency one episode at a time.
Everything is always working out for us. Hello and welcome back to the Rise and Align podcast, where we talk about all things high vibrational. We are your hosts. My name is Demi.
And I'm Haley, and today we are joined by Angela Jean, embodiment mentor and creator of Soul Sync Sessions. Angela helps people shift from survival mode into deep self-trust using rhythm, movement, and energetic alignment. In this episode, we explore how to rewire your body's patterns, manifest through sensation, not just thought, and what it really means to feel safe in your body again. If you've ever felt stuck in overthinking, disconnected, or like affirmations just aren't working, this conversation is going to land deeply. Let's dive in.
Hey guys, I'm Angela Jean. I actually consider myself a mindset disruptor. I'm the black sheep of therapy. I believe fully in mindset training, and that consists of, for me personally, nervous system training and self-concept training. I think those are the two most important things because the nervous system decides what you get to keep, and the self-concept decides what's possible for you. So for me, I like to focus on those two things just to really simplify the path for people, because nowadays, especially with any type of metaphysical work, we have so many options. You know, whether it's meridian point massage, somatic therapy. So I really try to simplify it and deliver it in a very, doable, bite-sizable, easy, fun, time-limited package to help people, like you say, stay high vibe, to raise the conscious collective.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Well, I have been checking out your work. I know we both have, and we are loving it. And I think a huge key that you are reaching that a lot of people kind of bypass is the physical action, because that does distract our mind. It helps rewire our brain. And a lot of people aren't connecting that, and they're just saying affirmations. They don't understand why they're not feeling it in their body. They don't understand why they're not disrupting the thought pattern. And you're getting that. So I'm curious, how did you come up with your methods?
You know, that's interesting that you say that. There's a lot that goes into my soul sync sessions.
Mm-hmm.
They are rhythmic affirmations. And how I came up with it is because, we all go through our obstacles in life. And I was doing affirmations and I was like, why do I feel worse sometimes?
Mm-hmm.
So I really started studying the science of why I was feeling worse. And the problem is, if you're someone that desperately wants to be in a relationship and you're like, I'm loved, I'm lovable, I meet the love of my life, but you look around at your world and there's no proof of that, it creates that cognitive dissonance, right?
Yeah.
Because your self-concept, your identity calls bullshit. And it's like, yeah, where? I don't see anyone. Who loves you? So you end up feeling worse about yourself. So in the process of studying why that was happening is how I discovered a few things. Number one, creating a rhythmic affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
What the rhythm does, you guys, you could use anything you want. What the rhythm does is it signals safety, because it's predictable and it's a pattern. And that's what your mind is always seeking. That's also what makes the body feel safe, a rhythm, which is why, like I say, it's very important to incorporate movement. Number two, I don't want to go down too many rabbit holes, but number two with affirmations is how you frame them. It needs to be very strategic to bypass the mind's defenses. Again, when I do my audios, if I'm working with someone, let's say that's afraid of love, if you're dealing with someone that's afraid to love again because she's been hurt, I wouldn't have her say an affirmation like, I'm loved. So what I do is I really do create a riddle, because when the mind is in a state of play, there's no resistance. So one of the audios I have created, I say, my heart is a mansion filled with many rooms that have yet to be explored. My heart is a mansion embracing all that I deserve. And like you're swaying and it's over music. So there's no resistance. But it's strategically saying the same thing, like my heart is open, it's waiting to be explored. So there's a lot of strategy that actually goes in to having an affirmation land, like you say, and be effective and actually penetrate the subconscious mind to create the transformation needed.
Yeah, that's incredible.
That was a monologue.
Heck yeah.
I wasn't
Love to
expecting
hear
that.
it.
Does that make sense though? Do you guys, does that make sense?
100%. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Okay.
absolutely. I really liked how you said because it's a rhythm that's predictable, it makes us feel safe. And I've experienced the cognitive dissonance both within myself and clients. And I preach how important it is that you feel that. You can't just say affirmations and be like, well, yeah, I'm gonna be a multi-billionaire tomorrow. Like, of course
Exactly.
you don't believe that. It doesn't
Exactly.
feel right. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so what you're doing is amazing. I'm really, really a big fan.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Yes,
Yeah.
agreed. I also love that you said it's kind of like a riddle. And instead of just being like, I'm loved, like that does create can create resistance. And you can feel that in your body. If that's something that might be kind of triggering, you can kind of start to feel closed off. But when
Yeah, you feel
you
the grip.
yes, and but what you just kind of walked through about it, like being a mansion, I could literally feel myself like opening up and feeling that, and I think that that is so important. And I would love for you to touch on a little bit more about like your nervous system and feeling it in your body and why that is so important instead of just like we were just talking about, just saying it.
So this is where, gosh, the science got really just I was got so obsessed. Like I'm such a nerd. So when this stuff resonates, I'm like, oh my God. Okay, so majority of us are locked up in survival. It's the modern world we live in. Anytime you feel rejection, it's normal for us to lock up. The problem is many of us will say we're fine. We push it down. The nervous system needs a signal. It doesn't need another story. It needs a signal. It needs that somatic sway. It needs you to take a moment in the moment of stress, no matter how small. It doesn't have to be a massive trauma. You could be in the car and have road rage where you take a moment to train your nervous system not to keep gripping. I'm going to get somewhere with this. And all it takes is just take that moment and just, I'm okay. I'm safe. Like everything's okay. Just take a moment and really reparent your nervous system. Just give it the signal of safety because eventually you'll train it to stop gripping. Why that's important. When your nervous system is gripped in survival, nothing will land. That's why you can't hold a love, you can't hold a success, you can't hold a relationship, the body goals, the health goals. So when you do a nervous system reset, what it does is your nervous system stops gripping for 30 seconds to 3 minutes. This is the science. You have a very small window. And that is why I sandwich the self-concept audio directly after. Because then it's boom, it penetrates for it locks back up. And so it's a session that you do a few times a day. It's a micro reset. And in the process, you're training. You're training your nervous system what safety feels like. Eventually, you can just drop right in and you don't have to do much. You can just do like, okay. And it remembers. Your body remembers. That's the thing. Our body remembers. So it's just a matter of training. And the biggest problem I find, the resistance I find with people is they just won't believe it's this simple.
No, that's so true.
Has to be
Yeah.
complicated. It has to be hard. It has to be expensive. We have to suffer. There's no way I could just sit here and sway and, oh, it's going to change all my problems. Yeah, actually it is.
100%. But also, if you want to believe it's hard, I guess, go ahead. But it
What
doesn't
is
have to
choose
be.
your hard, they say.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. So, since you do work with the body so much and you are obviously of the understanding that the body is, holding on to emotions and such a big part of reprogramming our subconscious, do you ever notice correlation between physical health and like emotional well-being?
1,000%. I'm always very, especially with my friends that are close to me, because I have like the awareness of that now. I always tell them, I'm like, you got to be careful because it will find a way to manifest. And when I researched my parents' death, my mother's cancer manifested in her, she ended up with cervical cancer and she happened to be, raped when she was younger and always had a sexual abuse. And it's interesting that's where it manifested, in that part of her body and so forth and so on. A lot of my friends that suppress everything, I'm like, you got to be careful with that because it'll manifest right here in your throat chakra, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm always very aware. So 1000%, like where does it hurt? Where's the ailment? That's
Mm-hmm.
why I do a lot of meridian point massage. I don't talk about it a lot because, like I say, I don't want to confuse people. I just want to get them started. But that's a big part of one of my modalities is the meridian point massage. And I do it every morning. I'll do fear, anger, and overthinking, regardless if I've had a good day, bad day.
Wow.
Because just so you guys know, every time you ruminate a thought, you're assaulting your nervous system.
Mm,
Anytime you have that conversation that's negative in the shower and you're like, what, we've all done it. I learned that every time the thought loops, you assault your nervous system. How violent does that sound when you say it like that?
yeah.
Literally what they said, you assaulted. I was like, oh my God.
I'm so sorry.
Seriously.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know a lot about meridian point massage. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
It's kind of hard. I've tried that. I don't bring it up a lot on podcasts because I can't show you.
Hmm.
Basically, when you have an emotion and you suppress it, it gets stuck in your meridian points, which are attached to your organs.
Hmm.
There's a way to access the meridian points through different pressure points. For example, fear is on the bottom of your foot. If you've ever got reflexology and they're pushing on your foot and you're like, there's a lot of meridian points down there. So let's just pretend like that's my foot. Like in the morning, I'll turn my thing and I'll just put my knuckle in and just like drag it. And you can feel it. You can feel the tension. It hurts. And as you do it, you'll feel it get a little less painful. When
Hmm.
you put your foot down, you immediately just feel the energetic flow. It's really magical and it's really powerful. Same thing on the top of the foot for anger. You just put your knuckle in that meridian point, and what it's doing is it's flushing. It's like flushing the emotional gunk, let's so to say, so to speak. Like it's getting
Hmm.
the traffic. You know what I mean? So you have like freeways that are moving, and it really creates a lot of clarity in your thought process. You get inspired easily. You're not as confused. You feel more confident. All of it's just emotional sludge, guys. It's like we are the healers, you know?
Yeah, 100. Please say it louder.
We are the healers.
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, I love that your perspective and your work kind of mend together the 3D and the 4D. We're not just the physical bodies, and it's not just, we're not just supposed to target things from like that spiritual realm. So I love that you kind of bridge that together where we're working with our body and our biology, while also these more spiritual aspects of ourselves, these energetic aspects of ourselves, which I just think that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, our body's like the vessel, the vehicle for this experience.
Hmm.
The problem is we don't take care of our vessels. So
Hmm.
we like a shitty car on a road trip,
Yeah.
breaking down all the time. It's like, you know,
Yeah, like you don't have your check engine light where you can see like
it's
something's going
always
wrong.
on.
So true.
You're not listening to the lights. You're like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm out of oil, out of, you
out of
know,
sight, out of mind.
Oh,
totally.
dear.
Oh my goodness.
So you mentioned, and answer as much as you want to, but that you had lost your parents. And I did listen to a few of your videos that you said you also lost your sister. That
Yeah.
is so much to go through. I feel like you're incredible. Things could have gone completely south for you. What do you think like led you to this path? Like, how did you get here?
Yeah, that's where my rebellious side has always played in my favor. I was
Yeah.
always the black sheep, the rebel. I've always been defiant since I was little. But yeah, that's kind of the thing that's more interesting about that story is that I really think that people searching for their purpose in life, it is in those pain points. It is in the places that you don't want to explore. Because
Hmm.
after just being raised with women with mental health issues, my dad committed suicide, my little sister committed suicide because he committed suicide, and then my mom died. It was just like, it was just such a blow that my main thing was I just became really obsessed with understanding the momentum of the mind because I was not going to end up like them. Like they all died and I could feel the rumination and the catastrophe, like all of it was happening. And I was
Hmm.
like, nothing's taking me down. Thank God I have that rebellious mindset where I was like, nothing's effing taking me down. And I just became really obsessed. And I spent the last 15 years understanding the momentum of the mind, how
Hmm.
to redirect the negative thought patterns, which is where the rhythmic affirmations were born,
Hmm.
how to harness the energy. And that's where everything else was born. So it was really in the healing process where all of this was born. And I am living a life of my soul purpose. We're all here having our individual soul journeys. No two are the same because
Hmm.
no trauma is the same. Like, yeah, people have had suicidal parents, whatever, but it's just not the same path. You know what I mean? It's like if I bake a cake and you bake a cake, it's going to taste different. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
definitely. I
So I
mean,
really try to inspire people that don't know what they want to do in their life to really, look behind that door.
that's amazing. I mean, I just want to say, like, congratulations for being so damn strong because it's seriously, it's really incredible that, you were able to recognize that was a pattern, not something that had to happen to you, not something you had to fall into, but something that you could study and change. Like, that's
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah. And it's so true. And I hope that people listening hear that, especially if they are going through something really hard. Everyone has their own crap. They do. And a lot of people get so stuck in that. They get so stuck in those
Right.
bad thoughts and the feelings and the habitual behavior and they look for relief in the wrong places. But if people could come to the awareness that it is a pattern that you can change by doing these things, it could change your life entirely.
Yeah, and I think the emotional charge is the entry point. I've always
Hmm.
said that. Like I always tell people that struggle with anger and depression, I'm like, you are like sitting on power
Hmm.
because some people can't even access their emotions. For me, like I do pattern interrupters, like for people that deal with anger, it's like the great thing about someone that really has angry outbursts is in the moment of their rage, they know exactly what the F they don't want, don't like. It's at the
Hmm.
forefront of their mind, right? So if you take that moment, you clap your hands really hard just to get into the body again and out of the head, or jump, whatever you got to do to get out of the head, and you rub your hands together. What I always suggest people to do is take that script. What do you hate? What are you hating right now? What do you not want? And take it like this, and you make that energy ball, and then you flip the script and say exactly the opposite of what you're feeling, and then just like really transform it. And you feel in that moment like you've harnessed the power, like you've transformed it. So if you hate being stood up by guys, or I hate him, he's always da da da, well, then what do you want? You know what I mean? And speak that into this rage, into this energy. And I really feel it transforms it because you've done something with it. You're not
Hmm.
sitting on it. You know what I mean? So I'm a huge
Alchemy.
fan of people with emotional outbursts. You just have to learn to harness the power and redirect it.
That's amazing. Like alchemizing it.
Absolutely. Hmm.
Totally. Try it. Like the next time you guys, if you're ever mad or just upset, clap your hands really hard and rub, and you will have a ball that I swear, like you'll feel like there's something like really there. It's
Hmm.
it's it's really like you could really feel it. But then it go like this, play with it as you're speaking what you want into it. It'll dissipate, 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 but it's like it's really cool. Please try
Mm.
it.
I love that. That's such
Absolutely.
a great little
Please try
ritual
it.
to try. Yes. I feel
Yeah, yeah.
like there is like a negative connotation for anger. And if it's not put in the right direction, like if you're not able to alchemize it,
Yeah.
it can be negative. But I think that feeling that anger is better than suppressing those feelings
Of
in
course, of
deeper.
course.
So I really like that as a practice. One thing that I wanted to ask is, a lot of people who are experiencing like mental health and just really going through something, they'll often go to therapy. And why do you think that maybe these rhythmic sessions or, working through the energy is more powerful or transformative than maybe continuously going through
Yeah.
therapy?
Yeah, I'm the black sheep of therapy. Not a fan. I believe that talking about the problem is a sure way to get stuck in it. And scientifically, every time you talk about something, you do what? You strengthen the neural pathway and the neural network that all that information lives on. You're essentially taking the defibrillator paddles and bringing that shit back to life.
Hmm.
For me, like I say, we're working with the energy. So we're transforming it at the root. We're transforming the story. We're rewiring the story. I don't need to sit and talk, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't work for me. I don't want to offend
Hmm.
anyone that enjoys their therapist, but for me, it also puts the healing outside of you. Like something's wrong, I got to call my therapist. If they're not available, then I got to push off my healing until I can go to see that person out there. Versus, like I say, the healer is within you, handling
Hmm.
it yourself. You have all the tools. And like I say, also, something that people always misunderstand about being in the line of work that we're in is that they think that because we do what we do, we don't feel our emotions. The other day I was on the boardwalk with my girlfriend and I'm dating this guy and it's a little, whatever. It's at our age, it's just complicated. Let's just say my age, sorry, it's complicated. And I was having a moment and this girl barely knows me. She's a friend of a friend. And she's like, I thought this is what you do for a living. She's like, why are you even upset? And I just looked at her. I was just like, I couldn't even say anything. But my point was, I do what I do so I can feel my feelings to the fullest, but I have the tools to recalibrate, get back to baseline, and use the information, like I say, to expand and grow, to grow. Because I say that our anger, our sadness is what? It's an unmet need.
Hmm.
What do we need? Give yourself that self-love or communicate it. Learn to be vulnerable. It's all tools for a continuous expansion, right? So that our relationships are better, so that we're able to connect further, feel deeper.
Hmm. I'm sorry, that's the entire point of being human. And just because you know how to how to alchemize and how to understand other people's emotions and help them do that doesn't mean you're not going to feel.
Yeah.
I'm alive here in physical, duh. I like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a
I was
human.
like,
No,
and
I'm
I,
not perfect 24/7. Like, yeah, it's such a thing. And I was thinking earlier when you were talking about the anger and like recognizing that as energy, how freaking brilliant that is because
oh,
we are so shameful about our negative emotions, especially in this career path when you are helping people to transmute that and process that and go through those
oh.
things without getting stuck there. Oh, well, you're getting mad. Someone said that to me the other day, and I was like, no shit. Like, yes, I still get mad. Yes. Like, I'm
Yes.
not always perfect. Yes. I
It's
can't
like we're
believe
not
it.
robots.
No.
God. You
No. So
teach
thank
yoga?
you for being real. Yeah, seriously. I'm like, oh
You
gosh.
teach yoga and you yelled?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I do. Both.
Oh my
Oh
God.
no,
No, I
it's so
always say
good.
our emotions are packed with data, like
Mhm.
packed. Every time I get mad about something and like really mad, I always create a new song or I just get clarity, like so much surfaces and something connects even further. It's like, so I invite it. I'm all about it.
That's amazing.
Sometimes when life is so peaceful, I'm like, man, I need some inspiration. Let me go on a date.
So true. No,
Every
I
time I
always
go,
say,
every time I date for a little, I live in Miami. It's wild here. I
oh yeah.
always come up. I always write a really good new soul sing session. Like one's called Love Bomb. It's so good. My goddess one came off of a bad date. Like most of my ones that are really fun for like being like magnetic have come off bad dates. So I love it.
That's so good. No, it's so true. I always say contrast creates expansion. You can't expand without it. You can't.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just part of being human, and I'm so glad to hear somebody who is successful and, doing these things speak about that openly and be like, yeah, like I'm a human being. We love talking about high vibrational frequencies. I mean, everything's made up of energy and specific frequencies can literally help heal. Do you like choose your music any specific way, or how do you do that?
Far as like the hurts and stuff like that. I
Hmm.
don't actually. I saw that. I don't. I have a music background, so I just have to, it has to light me up. The way
Yeah.
I pick my songs too, it's like takes hours and hours of searching. I use Epidemic Sound. But if the track will talk to me. When it's my
Hmm.
track, it talks to me. So I just like that's how I pick my music. I unfortunately don't pay attention to that. I have started lately with the nervous system training because it's important with the nervous system training audios. But
Hmm.
as far as the soul sync sessions, those are high vibe pop intended to move your body, fun. So
That's
the
no, I
answer.
love that. Because I mean, truly, what matters more than anything is how you feel. So if it is
Yeah.
lighting you up and making you feel that, that's exactly what it's meant to do.
Yeah. I mean, I think more for the healing nervous system stuff, you need to pay attention to the hurts. Yeah. But
Hmm.
for the high vibe stuff, no, it's like party.
I love that.
Remember, we're tricking. We have to bypass the mind.
It's so true.
Healing, we're partying.
Yeah.
So true.
Oh, that's so amazing. You've talked a little bit about like micro resets. Can you
Yep.
go a little bit more into that, what that's like, or when you would apply that in a situation?
Yes, micro resets came about because again, I am my own guinea pig. I was doing meditations and then I realized like I would feel good for like an hour and then I would just tip again. This is when I was going through, the healing after my dad's suicides and stuff. And I would just tip again and I just couldn't keep the frequency. I couldn't stay high vibe. And I was like, I felt like I just needed more. And that's when I realized that tuning in for a minute or 2 minute a few hours a day, like every hour or in the morning or in the evening, was more effective than sitting for an hour and trying to make myself do a meditation. Another thing I realized when I would try to force myself to sit for a long time and do a meditation, I would be in and out, of focus. Like I wouldn't really be able to focus that long when I was learning to meditate.
Mhm.
With a micro reset, it's 2 minutes. And the vibrational weight that that carries of you being completely focused for that 2 minutes elevates everything way more than you sitting for an hour doing a meditation where you're fading in and out of, paying attention.
Mhm.
So that's where the micro resets come into play. It's just effective. It's easy. You're tuning. You're
Yeah.
sitting down and you're tuning. You have to tune in before you broadcast. Like I always say that a lot of my sessions, some are for love, some are for success, some are for confidence. Like if you really get into this, you have to turn it into a lifestyle. So for me, like if I was single, I would want to tune in to the girl I want to be before I walk out the door and go on the date. You got to be responsible for the energy that you bring into the world because your energy walks into the room before you do, right? So
Mhm.
you would listen to the I'm a goddess, I'm worthy of the absolute best, a handful of times and walk out the door, that girl. You know what I mean? So you really have to shift your identity before you walk out if you want to see it reflected in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I like micro resets. It's like little
Mm.
tuning sessions.
Yes, I feel
It's
like doing
constant tuning.
it like less amount of time more often is actually more repetitive. It's going to have like a bigger effect on your mind and retraining the subconscious
Good
instead of
point.
one time a day
Mm-hmm.
or twice a
Yeah,
week.
that's a really good point. Again, you're teaching the patterning where your mind recognizes it. It's like, oh yeah, and then it clings to it. That's the good thing. It clings to that. And the lovely thing is when it starts clinging to that information, it transforms on the inside without you even knowing. All of a sudden, you think differently about yourself. You don't respond the way you used to in that conversation with your girlfriend. It just happens, you guys. It's like it's not even no efforts needed,
Hmm.
you know?
I love that so much. And I think what you're saying, doing it for a smaller increment really helps relieve that resistance that people have to like an hour-long meditation. So, oh my God, the amount of people I've heard be like, I can't meditate. I hate it so much. And it's like, well, if you're forcing yourself to do something you hate, it's not going to be effective in a good way
Exactly.
anyway. Yeah.
Exactly. If it feels like a task, nothing's happening.
Also, I love that you're saying like to calibrate yourself before you go in the world, right? And I had watched a short from you on YouTube saying something about like if you're not feeling your best self, if you're having a bad day, cancel the date. Don't go on the date because you're not going to show up as that person. And I think that's such a good rule of thumb for just about anything. Like, yes, of course, if you have a job, you got to show up to, like, sometimes you can't call in. Okay, I get it. But for the most part, finding alignment within yourself before you do anything, and you
Mm.
can take that 2 minutes. Like everyone has that 2 minutes that you can just stop and be like, okay, let me take a breath, remember who I am, tap, do what you got to do to get into that because it's going to change completely what you attract.
1000%. And I
Mhm.
actually suggest that highly for women that are just the new girl boss women, right? Because they're
Mhm.
heavily in their masculine energy. Let's say they go from work to happy hour. They're taking that masculine energy with them. And you'll always hear really successful women say they can't meet masculine men because you're holding the space for masculine men. So I always say the simplest thing to do for someone that's task driven all day, working her ass off, you could just simply do the left nostril breathing. And that, connects you, as you know, just do that in your car for like 5 minutes and it will make all the change, you know?
So good.
Yeah, just implementing these small habits can really have a snowball effect on your
Totally.
life and what you're able to call in and what you're an energetic match to.
Exactly. Exactly. And like it's funny how like I can't meet any masculine men. It's like, okay, why? Because you're holding the masculine space.
Mm-hmm.
And my girlfriend has a husband and she's like, I wish he would just be more masculine. How can he? You command that space. Like you need to be more submissive and like more not submissive, feminine, like sit in your feminine. But a lot of women don't know how to lean back anymore. We've
Mm-hmm.
become so task driven, get shit done. The Gary V, right? The Gary V world. Grind, grind, grind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's
We
hard to
talk,
lean back.
it is, it is. We talk a lot about that on this podcast too. Do you have any tips for like getting into your feminine energy?
I've gotten good at it lately. Literally just, well, first of all, nervous system training for receiving.
Mm-hmm.
Being comfortable receiving. I start very small with people. It's like if someone gives you a compliment, don't give it back. Keep it as yours, receive it. If someone wants to buy you a coffee, the little things that we were like, oh, no, 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 that's okay. That's like the smallest little thing. Just thank you. Keep it as you don't owe anything. It's yours. Like feminine energy receives, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I always say that it's not about how beautiful, how high your heels are, how short your skirt, how much makeup. No, no, no. It's a vibe.
It
So,
is.
that's just the smallest thing I like people to start with, and then obviously stretching and all that kind of stuff just to remove the tension because anytime you feel locked up, you're just not going to feel the flow of the feminine energy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so good.
Absolutely. I feel like this kind of fits in the conversation, and I feel like a lot of the stuff we've talked about kind of equates to this, but you kind of have this mantra where you are who you train to be. And I
Oh,
would
yeah.
love for you to speak on that a little bit, like what that means.
Yeah, that's one of my main mottos is you are who you train to be. I believe that we're training a version of ourselves with every single decision we make. We get up
Mhm.
in the morning, what we grab from the refrigerator decides, are we the healthy version? Are we the not healthy version? We have an errand. We do it, we don't do it. So we're lazy, we're not, you know, what I mean, are you working out? Are you going to not work out? You know, it's like every single decision, we're training a version of ourselves. So you are who you train to be. Like if you want to be in a relationship, what are you doing to train that version of yourself? Are you, like I always say, dating is a great way to start training for the relationship because what are you learning how to do? Communicate, deal with rejection, be vulnerable, like all the stuff you need to really become the woman that can hold the relationship that you want. I'm not talking about every Tom, Dick, and Harry. I'm saying the
Mhm.
when the real one comes in, can you hold the container to keep that relationship? You know what I mean? Because that's the biggest problem. A lot of people will call it in, but then they collapse because they can't hold
Mhm.
it. So
Mhm.
Mhm.
like training, it's no different than if you want a booty, you don't go do squats once, you know, every single day. And the nutrition matters. There's a lot of
Mhm.
moving parts. So with every decision, like slow down. Who am I training to be right now?
Mhm.
Also, that's a big part of like why I try to tune in before I record a video, before I get on a podcast, you know?
Yeah, that's so important. You are, creating habits to be the person that you're desiring to be. And I think people easily forget that it is a practice. It's always a practice, both with the mindset and the physical, actions and decisions that you're making. You can't just do it once. Like I really
No.
always hope that when I'm doing sit-ups that I'm gonna have a six pack by tomorrow, but it never happens. You got to keep doing it. It never happens in one session, does it?
No, but it's like oftentimes we have to become a different version of ourselves to get the life that we desire. Like, who do you
Hmm.
have to become to get that? Like, I knew when I wanted to start building my business in another way, I knew I had to learn the SEO, and I was like, I don't want to. But I knew like if I just would learn a little bit and just take a few courses, it does. It makes you move, talk, walk, think differently.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be a ton of information. You don't have to go get a degree. The little bit, like the littlest amounts of information shift everything. And
Hmm.
also just move, like it just builds confidence.
Mhm.
It's interesting. Like just educate yourself.
Yeah, no, it's so true. I love that answer, and it's kind of answering a question I had in mind. But at the end of the documents that we had sent over from your assistant, it
Mhm.
said, "I'm not a licensed therapist, etc." Right?
Mhm.
So many people are. They have all the degrees and the licenses and whatever, and they still don't feel good enough. They still
Yeah.
don't feel adequate to be teaching other people. Do you have any tips or, perspectives on how did you feel like I can do this? I'm ready to do this.
We all struggle with that. I'm not good enough. I think I still struggle with that sometimes. I'm like, oh, maybe not yet. No, not yet. No, I'm not ready, but not yet. You know, for me, it's just a calling.
Hmm.
Like, there's no way I went through what I went through and recovered the way I did to not share these tools. So for me, it's just more of a calling to serve
Hmm.
than me trying to be the identity of the girl that's good enough. I don't know. It doesn't really, it comes more intrinsic and in, out. So that's just how I navigate. But I still struggle with it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Like if
That's
someone asked
so
me to do a
good.
TED Talk tomorrow, I'd be like, no, I'm not ready,
Me?
but I want
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
you
Well,
know?
I
That's
think
where
that,
identity training comes in too. Like I still do my identity training for that version of myself. Like I'm doing it now. I have a new rampage I do. Like it's a lifestyle. It's nonstop, guys. Like as you reach a goal, who do you want to be now? Who do you want to be next?
Mhm.
mhm.
No?
It sounds like you're really good at listening to your intuition because I have heard other people speak on that subject, right? And I've heard this saying that says, if you have a message that you want to share and you feel like it's your calling, but then like your subconscious is like, no, no, you can't do it. You're not good enough, right? You're actually doing the world a disservice by not sharing your message. And I feel like with you, that's so very clear. I mean, you're helping thousands of people. If you weren't willing to share that, even if you're not feeling, quote unquote, good enough to do it or qualified or whatever, you would be doing the world a disservice. So I think it's incredible that you are like, you know what, have a calling that I'm meant to be doing, and I'm not going to ignore it, even if I am feeling one way or another.
Yeah, but even with my agent, they were like, "Well, do you have a degree? Do you have a this? Do you have that?" And it's like it's funny how even you're constantly challenged when you don't. And it's
Yeah.
like, but guess what? I lived through this, and the therapist that's sitting on the pedestal with her degree that she got at school, I can run circles around her. So
Hmm.
no, you know what I mean? You kind of have to, that's where you really have to just lean into yourself and just believe
Mhm.
because I don't, nor do I want one. I feel like if anything, it would paint me into a box. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I figured out all this stuff on my own. I feel like that's the path.
Yeah.
So I'm always going to get resistance from anyone. That's the first question with anything I want to do. They're like, well, do you have a degree? Or when you want to charge something, well, do you have a degree? It's like, no, but I spent 15 years doing this. You're not paying for my little 2-minute session. You're paying for the
Hmm.
15 years and the journey I went through to deliver it to you in this little gift with a little bow that is so pleasant to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
didn't have to cry and go through the breakdowns and all that. I did that, so you don't have to.
Yes.
Hmm.
The school of life.
It's so much more
Finally.
important to be able to deliver results than it is to be like, yeah, I have this piece of paper framed on the wall. And I mean,
Yeah.
when it comes to therapy, I'm not trying to talk down on therapists. There are
No,
good
of course not.
ones, you know. However, in my experience in my studies, when you are speaking about something that makes you feel bad, we act out of our emotions. And
Yeah.
guess what? It creates that reality again and again, and it keeps us
Mhm.
caught in that cycle, right? So I don't see how that is as effective or helpful in moving forward. And I'm so glad that so many people are coming to the realization that it isn't the degree that makes you qualified, it's the results, you know, and
Yeah.
we are all like God made us good enough already, you know, so
Yeah.
it doesn't make you. I do have a degree, I don't use it. I mean, it doesn't make me more intelligent. I might have more knowledge in one subject, but you can
Sure.
study anything these days, you
Yeah.
know, so it's really not about that. And I can relate so much to people being like, "Do you have a degree for that?" Listen, I have degrees, certifications up the wall, and it's not helpful actually. Like it doesn't change anything. I mean, some it's nice to have knowledge. I'm not saying that you shouldn't if you
Yeah.
don't
Yeah. Yeah.
want to. Of course, it can be helpful, but it doesn't change your worth as a human being at all.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say it holds the reality in place because the other night I was out with my girlfriends and they're all just complaining about the dating event. I'm like, and I'm just listening to them whine. And I'm like, you guys are holding this reality in place. They're so sick of me saying this. They're like, okay, Angela. And I'm like, but you are. You're holding this reality in place. And they're like, how are you? I'm like, my life is effing amazing. Everything's amazing. And I'm not going to dull it down and say that it's not because all you guys are like having a hard time because I don't talk like that. Like, step
Yeah.
one, stop saying that.
Mm-hmm. No, it's
It's
so
like,
true. So true. Words are spells, like you and to be able to recognize that and instead of like lowering down to the vibe of the people who
ah,
are,
I
repeating
mean, they
this.
all
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
talk about a low vibe. I'm like, I'm just gonna back up and stand over here.
Yeah,
I don't
seriously.
want to get like sucked in.
Yeah, no, it's so relatable. Bring them up to your vibe, instead because everyone needs it, really,
Oh,
truly.
So there's something about that. Like, here's the deal with that. Like, you can drop one seed. If they gravitate to it, great. If they don't, they're just on a different level of consciousness. They're not ready to hear you. Pull your energy back because then you're leaking energy and it only is going to affect you. Don't try
Hmm.
to convince people, even in relationships, friendships, don't try to convince people of anything. Either they can hear you or they can't. Either they're ready or they're not. And
mhm.
if not, pull your energy back and keep it as your juicy, yummy energy. Like, don't give it away.
Yes.
So good.
Yeah, I feel like we've talked about that too. Like, don't, your energy is precious. Like,
Mhm.
don't let other people take that away from you.
Yeah, you should be able to feel the rest. If you don't feel charged when you leave people, it's because you're leaking and you're not getting anything back. You know what I mean? That's like that
Mm,
reciprocity loop. That's why, like, some of your friends you go to lunch with, it's like high vibe, good conversation, and then some you're just like drained after. You
hmm.
really start paying attention to that. It's really, fascinating.
Yes. I feel like for the most part, I've always considered myself an introvert, and
Sure.
I would leave social settings feeling that way, like drained. But once I closed up those energy leaks, like didn't let people impact that, I have become more extroverted, especially around people that are more high vibe. Like I feel like I don't leave feeling like, oh, that was like I need to go hide in my house. Like I don't
You
know,
know,
it's
I
just kind of
yeah, I've become introvert, and what I have found, because my sister was introvert and I never understood it. What I have found being more of an introvert now is like you just don't have like small talk is not interesting. You want to go more deep and have conversations with depth. So now my
Mhm,
circles are way smaller. I don't hang out with the hens and the chickens. So it's just you're looking for a depth
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and like true connection.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I feel like now that I'm a converted introvert, I've transitioned.
Oh.
It's so true. You just get more picky with your vibration. It's important. It really is.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, totally.
So you had talked a bit about turning overthinking into inner knowing. And I'm really curious if you can expand on that.
Overthinking into inner knowing. Sometimes I'm like, how do I simplify this? Overthinking into inner knowing. Again, I think it's that like rumination, right? That thought loop, that unmet need that's trying to be heard is kind of how it turns into inner knowing. But the thing about that is you have to be able to get really honest with yourself. So let's say you're someone that's in a victim mindset and they did this to me, they did this to me. Da, 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 da. You're ruminating, overthinking, right? Because overthinking is essentially the stress cycle has not been complete. It
Hmm.
hasn't been resolved because number one, you haven't signaled safety to your nervous system, which you could do, and it would help stop the ruminating. But also, when you ruminate, there's an unmet need. There's something that needs to be heard, right? So that's when you have to turn into the inner knowing. One of the most powerful things that ever happened to me when I was going through all my stuff is I just felt like such a victim. And finally, I don't know why the lens turned, but I was like, he did this to me, he did this to me. And then the question was, why did I allow it? And that question changed everything because it made it about me. Why did I allow this? Why did I think it was okay for him to abuse me, lie to me, cheat me? Like, and I kept going back. Why was I starved for his love? Like, where was I taught this? And that's when the journey, okay, when was the first time I ever fought for love or attention or thought that love was abuse? Like, then you start connecting those dots. And then that's when the overthinking turns into inner knowing, but it doesn't happen right away. You have to really sit in solitude sometimes, and sometimes it'll just surface when you're in the shower. But you do have to ask the question, why did I allow this? That's like to me, that's an entry point question to anything you're struggling with. Why did I allow this? The answer will eventually surface. It won't be right away, usually, because you've suppressed that answer for so long. Or
Yeah.
that truth, let's say, that truth.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's really powerful. And I think, again, it's really important to bring it back to yourself because then you have the power. You can you can change it from there. You can dive into it more and figure out the why, and not attract those situations anymore. So I really
Yeah.
love that perspective a lot.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. And like I say, a big part of the why is just from childhood, we've been conditioned to forget, right? Conditioned how fabulous, how beautiful, how lovable, how, this and that. Because when we're raised, be quiet, don't express that emotion. You know what I mean? So we're suppress, smaller, shrink it smaller, smaller. So it's just about like taking up as much space in this world as you can, you know?
Hmm. It makes me think about too energetically, right? When we're having this, it's usually the same emotion, even if it's different circumstances or a different guy or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't ever stop to ask, why am I feeling this way? It's not usually because of the immediate circumstance. It's usually something so much deeper, right? I
Mhm.
don't feel good enough because then
Yeah,
like got
yeah,
to keep
yeah.
going deeper and deeper until you get to the true answer. And I feel
Mhm.
like when you get there as an adult, especially one who is, studying this self work and understanding energetics, you can kind of realize like the parent who told me that I wasn't worthy was not in alignment, was not coming from a place of love. Like, this isn't actually a logical, reasonable belief. It's just something that I took on before I even knew how to choose my
Yeah.
own beliefs?
Yeah, totally, exactly. Like
Yeah.
majority of our beliefs aren't ours. And the major problem is those stories, the way we interpreted whatever it is, that's what stays stuck in our nervous system though, too. That's
Mm-hmm.
why a lot of the nervous system training is like, I'm safe to receive, I'm safe to hold. I don't have to carry a courtroom in my body. Like it's really simple language when it comes to nervous system training because
Yes.
you're basically just rewiring the story at the
Mm-hmm.
root
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah. That's.
while you're somatically swaying,
Mhm.
signaling to your body safety. It's safe here. It's safe here. And when it feels safe here, that's when you start the affirmation. Like I'm safe to hold. You know what I mean? It's safe in my body. And then it
Mm-hmm.
starts to remember the feeling. That's why you don't say anything until you've swayed for a moment. You'll feel your body unlock because it's like almost like if you had a baby and you were swaying the baby.
mhm,
You kind of know when you're synced and it's kind of you could feel the energy connect, right? You could feel it with yourself. It teaches people to really tune in and feel their bodies. Like the minute you feel the gripping release, then you say, it's safe here. And it just, like I said, before it locks back up, it has taken on that information. So over and over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
mm.
it rewires, it repatterns.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like we were talking earlier a little bit about like becoming a vessel for that which you desire. And I think that feeling safe in your body is such a major component of that. Feeling safe to hold more money, feeling safe to have the relationship that you want. And I just think that that's such an important component to like manifestation or just aligning with the life that you want.
Mhm.
Everything you want is on the other side of safety. Like I've been
Mm.
doing so much nervous system training lately, and it is like a rush. That's why I say like everything we want is already here. It's just knocking on a closed door, the closed door of your nervous system, the closed door of your heart. I've been doing it, and the amount of stuff that is rushing into my life is just it. I'm like, I can't even believe it. I'm like writing it down because there's so many of my manifestations now that are just coming in. I was like, holy shit, this stuff really works. Now I'm
You
like doing
broke the dam.
every hour. Yeah, it's crazy, and I feel safe to hold because I just do it every night anyway. It gets addicting. I'm like, oh my God, what else can I hold? What else can I hold? What else can I get?
I love it.
That's amazing. It
Great.
is so effective. And you had said earlier, reparenting my nervous system. And I was like, yep, 100%.
Totally. I mean, when I'm in bed now at night, I just tap and I take advantage of every moment to just drop in and do it because you can't do it too much. You
Hmm.
want it to, like I say, cling to it. Ah, that feels
Hmm.
familiar. I like that. This is where we are.
So good. I don't think people realize how much they are living in fight or flight. Because it is kind of below consciousness, and even talking about the meridian point massage, like how often
Mm.
do people actually sit and massage themselves? Like
Yeah,
never.
yeah, even that I do for a minute. This
Hmm.
isn't like an hour. You
Hmm.
guys, like you feel it's a quick thing. It's a quick flush. Like this is not hard work.
Hmm. So good. Amazing, honestly.
I guess I should call it meridian point activation because a massage does sounds like, all right, lay down for an hour and massage our foot. Like now.
Just rubbing out a little trauma. Ah.
That's so funny.
Um, you also talked a bit about presence calibrating your body to receive. So is that
Is that how I worded it?
Mhm.
Presence calibrating your body to receive.
Presence can calibrate your body to actually receive what you're
Be
asking
present in your
for?
body.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's like what I'm always saying with everything, like tuning in
Yep.
to that version of you that believes they deserve. So that's kind of more the identity stuff, being present.
Yeah, in embodying that.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Of course, you're a vibrational match to what you're asking for if you're doing that, what you're talking about, especially if you're doing it multiple times a day and you're doing it before bed and you're doing it when you wake up. It makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense why it's so effective. People, I think they bypass like, oh, if I'm only going to do something for 2 minutes, it's not going to be that effective. But if you are doing it habitually, or if you're doing it in the morning or at night when your mind is more permeable, it's going to be seriously effective. It doesn't have to be something crazy. It doesn't have to be horrible. You don't have to be
Mhm.
crying. You can just,
No.
no, your work makes it so light and fun and easy and
Yeah.
doable, and I really think that the music that you're putting into it, you're like, we're having a party. We're not doing inner work. I'm like, that's,
No, and it's my tracks, I'm sorry, but they're really good. Like I listen to
yeah.
them just anyway now. Like that's my music now because I'm like, and I just listen to them back to back and it's crazy. Like I say, because I'm not going to put anything out unless I feel it and I can prove like I am my own proof of concept. You know what I mean? And it's like they're really good. Sorry.
Don't
Like
be
That's
sorry. You're
so
every
weird.
time I write a new one, I'm like, oh my God, I'm like a pop star.
yes.
That's how we know that they'll be good because you love them and you poured
Yeah.
everything into them. Like that's what's important. While we're on that subject, do you want to share like where the listeners can maybe find those and explore that?
I just redesigned my website. I'm so funny. So at soulsyncsessions.com. What I am leaving out about these audios, they are 30-day programs,
Hmm.
21 day to 30-day programs. It's not just an audio. You also get a digital journal and a digital daily tracker. Basically, you do the 2-minute identity shift, audio. And then the digital journal, you write the same exact affirmation until you fill up the box for each day. And then you check off the daily tracker that you've done it. What writing does is it basically solidifies the data even more, as you
Hmm.
guys know. And it's all done from your phone. I wanted to make everything so easy, no excuses, very accessible. So soulsyncsessions.com.
Amazing. And then Angela Jean for your YouTube as well as Instagram and any other social page.
Yeah, correct. It's
Yeah.
AngelaJean.chat. Yeah, just Angela Jean chat. It'll all come up. Yeah, Angela
Amazing.
Jean chat.
We can make sure to link all of that down below as well.
Yeah, I'm starting to put audio samples so that they can actually hear what they're buying. I just started doing that, so they'll all be up soon. But yeah.
That is so awesome. I'm excited to check those out myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, I think it's so accessible and just such an easy way to integrate healing into your life. And I think we all could use more of that.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're a blessing to the world, and I'm really thankful that you were able to come on and share and that you are sharing this with the world. It's so important.
And you guys are great together, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, you guys are great co-hosts. Is that what it's called? Co-host when there's two?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we call it anyways. I
Yeah.
think that.
Okay.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. I think this episode will be out in about a month.
Mhm.
We can follow up via email. We can share the episode with you as well if you want a copy of the video.
Yeah.
But we'll
Are you
just,
guys on Instagram? How do I get all that? Is that my agent have that?
um,
Or I'll
we
find
can
it.
share that
Yeah.
too. We'll share our social channels too,
Okay.
and we'll make sure. I mean, I think we're following you, but if not, we'll make sure if you are on your own socials, you can just find us
Okay.
there too. But
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm sure it's attached to your podcast link, I'm sure. So I'll find that too.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect. Yeah, we always make sure to email back to the assistant the whole video if you'd like that. And then we'll make sure to tag ours too. And then whenever we post anything with you in it, we'll make sure to tag you as well.
And where do you guys, what's your platform?
All of them.
yeah, so
You?
the
Okay, okay. I
podcast,
just
Yeah.
like,
yeah, the
okay.
podcast is across like all major podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, like
Oh,
all
okay,
of
got it.
those. YouTube, we also have it on YouTube, the Rise and Align podcast. And then for social media, we're primarily on Instagram and TikTok. So the Rise and Align
Got it.
podcast on there too. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, TikTok too. I know, God, I've been lazy lately. I haven't been posting at all because I'm just like re-strategizing the way I deliver my videos on YouTube. So took a
That's
break.
awesome.
And of course it went like the views went up. I'm like, what?
Don't even have
Again,
to
I
do
think it's like
anything.
that. I think it's also like that chaser energy. When I'm like
Mhm.
asking, it's signaling to the universe that I don't have it. And then the minute I lean back, I'm like, okay.
It's so the vibe. It's so the vibe more than the
It is.
delivery. It really is. But honestly, your YouTube is amazing. I mean, you've grown to 150,000 followers. That's a ton. That's awesome. And when I was looking at your videos, like they're so high quality. You're doing great.
Yeah, you got to really start paying attention. This is the stuff I don't want to study. The analytics, why they drop off, when they drop off, how do I get, you know what I mean? So then, and now that we have chat,
So
like,
true. Yeah,
they're
seriously.
like, give us, like, I'm
Chat
like,
GPT.
yeah, I put the whole thing in. I'm like, he's like, you're not delivering what you're doing. You're taking too long to do this. I'm like, okay. So it's just the retraining. That's what I've been doing lately, by the way. And it does build confidence because then you have
Mhm.
another, you know.
So good.
Anyways, all right, cool. I like it. This was fun.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being here. Have a wonderful night out.
Yeah, I gotta fix everything, but yeah.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Guys, again,
Bye.
bye.
Okay, so as per usual, we're going to pull a card. I have these random cards that I bought, and I don't know what any of them are. All right, creativity, perfect. Always perfect. It's pretty on both sides if you are watching the video. All right. You love to devise new ideas, innovations, and forms of illumination.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. I loved talking to her about like what she was just saying about how she was thinking about new ways to come up and she didn't want to do the studying, but now she's just, coming up with new ways to deliver the information and how to, you know, have it be more effective for people or have it be more of an immediate message and kind of cutting out the unnecessary. I think that's really good. And also her talking about it was more of like an inner message and a path that she's meant to follow versus like something that she's trying to accomplish kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. And she said she was like taking kind of a break from it. And that space is kind of the birthplace of creativity. Like that is where it's able to come through when you give space for it too. So I think that is really special. And I resonate with that a lot. I really want to tap more into my creative energy. And this is just like a silly thing, but um I'm just like playing around with like art, which I never considered myself an artist, but I've just been playing around with that a little more to just like not with any expectation like it has to be good or like, but just like to connect to that like creative side of myself and like the imaginative aspect. It feels good.
It does. I feel like it's so much fun to just allow creativity to
Mm-hmm.
flow from you, right? Then rather than like stress yourself out, like I have to do this and it has to
Mm-hmm.
be good and blah, like
Mm-hmm.
just see what shows up, just listen to that inner guidance and do whatever excites you.
Mm-hmm. Heck yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for being here and joining us on yet another high vibe episode. Thank you so much for raising the frequency with us. Make sure to share this episode with a friend, like, comment, subscribe. We're so happy to have you here and building such an amazing high vibe community. And we wouldn't want it any other way.
Absolutely. Thank you as always for helping us raise the frequency, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.